Hello and welcome to the ORCA Pod, the apex predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. We have a fantastic show coming for you tonight. There'll be an interview with DC. Ash will try and beat me in TWIOLSH. I hope it's not another repeat of last week where I shamefully lost to Maddie. I've been living with the shame all week. I've put in the effort. I've put in the studying to make sure this doesn't happen. But Jules keeps making these questions harder and harder. So I am struggling with that. And of course, we'll be talking about all the exciting action of this episode 7 of One Well. Before we do that, we have a slight special guest. But first, let me bring in Dani. Welcome, Dani.
Hi, I've made it. Just for this.
Yeah, fresh off your car being locked away. You've made it.
Yes, I'm here.
Before I bring in Jules, I'm going to bring in a special guest. That's special to you and me, Dani, because this Sunday, a group of people are running a sequester game of former LRG contestants in the community. It's the second one that's been run. And let's bring him in, the guy that's running it, the OG ORCA, the man that gave us the term ORCA that we embraced and then brought into our entire podcast. Let me bring in, of Canberra, the Ultimate Sacrifice fame, James Wolf. Welcome, James.
Ahoy, good to be here. Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this game that you roped Dani and I into? We're playing. Can people watch this?
Yeah, so to give a bit of a background, you hit the nail on the head. It's essentially a sequester game where we have myself and the other members of the production team, we have gathered other members of the LRG community across the different franchises to essentially go head-to-head in a game of sequester where obviously yourself, CK, and Dani have been graceful enough to, join us with your presence, and we'll see how you guys go.
So can the fans watch this live? Can they watch Dani and me in action?
So as much as I know that you love the Limelight, CK, we don't have a live stream going in terms of from a video format. We did look at it, but unfortunately just can't make it work this time. But we're going to be having like a bit of a Facebook thread on the Backyard Survivor viewing page, discussion group, and the same with the Survivor Canberra viewing discussion group as well. We have a bit of a live thread so everyone can follow along, choose your winner pick, etc.
That's really appropriate because most of the cast is either from Backyard or from Canberra. Myself, Dani, and the infamous JP being the lone wolves there, using your term from Ultimate Sacrifice, lone wolves. Because now we're lone wolves. I watched that episode today in preparation for TWIOLSH. Your boot. We've got a lot of people actually from Backyard season 5 that we're covering. Who's going to be joining us from Backyard season 5? Yeah,
so obviously Backyard season 5, One Well airing at the moment. So obviously you guys are covering it, doing a great job. So we've got Takan, who's a bit of a fan favourite in the community. We've also got Hayley as well, who's been a really strong assertive presence on that season, who I've loved. We've got probably who I'm going to say is a good contender for the ORCA of that season in Mark as well. Then, who else have we got? Oh, DC as well, who you guys are interviewing tonight. So, quite a bit of variety there, and it should be fun.
And making his debut in any sort of format that, as far as I'm aware, Dan, the host of Canberra, will be participating as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Dan's been a pretty popular choice for the winner pick, so we'll see how he goes and whether or not he should just stick to his hosting or whether or not he's cut out to play a game in the future. I mean, I guess this is his test run.
The Canberra Backyard combination doesn't die there. Of course, the original winner of the first season of this, I believe, was Mel of One Well and Canberra fame.
Yeah, correct. So the first one we ran was about 18 months ago, where we had 24 contestants across the different franchises. It was just a fantastically strong cast, and obviously we've got a great strong cast this time as well. A bit, less numbers, but Mel came out on top, followed by Sydney Survivor winner Sam Green and and John Tan from my season and Melbourne's 3 winner coming out third as well. So it was a great match and some great rivalries and all a bit of fun, and it's about bringing the community together as well.
This Riley's just dropping Dan into it, saying he has very extensive sequester experience. But we didn't hear it from him. Well, we did. You just told us all this. Thank you for that. We'll note that away for future reference.
Good to know. Thank you, Liz.
And Tarkan's here as well. He's very excited. So thank you for putting together, James, Wolfie, for this and your crew, Aston, Sam Green. Who else is helping?
Yep, so Aston, myself, Sam Green, Malcolm from my season, and then we have Tom Grant as well, who is helping us. So it should be great. Happening this Sunday, starting at 4:45 Melbourne time. So feel free to tune into the live page from then. And obviously, the best of luck to the two of you as well. Hopefully, you have fun and enjoy the experience.
Thanks, Wolfie. Thanks for coming on and letting us know about it.
Easy. Cheers, guys.
And now, of course, we'll bring in the much beloved and much missed Jules. Welcome, Jules.
Nearly 7 minutes of my own show, and I'm not here. Thanks for that. Now I'm happy that I made Dani my winner pick and not you.
You put an ORCA on the screen, and they just take up the time. What can I say? I know he's
four of us on the screen.
Oh, yeah, but you're not even in the game. I was just trying to keep it short.
Thanks.
Dani doesn't complain when she gets booted for TWIOLSH. It's just the way it is. We agree the 3 slots are the way to go. And while Wolfie has not officially been called ORCA of the season, and the Congress of ORCAs will need to meet on that, when we do the backyard ultimate sacrifice coverage, presumably he's going to win that, noting he coined the term. Okay, now we've discussed sequester. We've discussed myself and Dani long enough. Maybe not. But let's get into this episode of One Well. Where do you want to start? In the middle, at the end, at the beginning?
Can we just jump to the end?
The end?
Is it? Look, some stuff happened along the way, but everything actually happened to Tribal.
It did.
Like there was the challenge stuff. We can get into that a bit later, but let's get right into it. Let's talk about Tribal. That's what I want to do.
Well, let's talk about the fact that it took 6 seasons. 7 seasons? 6 seasons of American Survivor. I don't know how many shots in the dark were played. 5 before that, before it hit for Caleb. And only the second one ever played here in Backyard. Hits for Tara. What an outcome.
Oh
my God.
My God. I just
couldn't.
It could have happened to a better person also. Like,
right?
Unreal. Yeah, but they weren't going for Mark. That's the point. At this point in time, all the people that happened to, perfection.
Look, that was amazing, but then her allies didn't do the right thing, and so DC went out.
Yeah.
Well, let's be clear here. It's a big call for Takan and Kate to dump votes on Hayley on the hope that Tara's shot in the dark hits.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. But let's think about this. What was the most likely outcome? Tara plays a shot in the dark and it doesn't hit. Then they go back to camp with DC having just voted for him. So either way, it's a bad call.
But DC doesn't matter. He's got no influence in the game. Hayley has a lot of influence. Hayley has a lot of influence in the game. I don't think she would take well to getting votes.
I think it'd be more hell if they would go back with Hayley than they go back with DC.
DC is on the bottom and he's pragmatic.
Yeah, DC's going to cop that in the chin and keep that for further notice. Hayley goes on a warpath.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this for certain, but this is the impression that I have of Hayley. Dani seems to agree. I won't be voting for Hayley at all in the sequester game. I see that she
they voted for Tara then instead.
Yeah, that's an option. But then that doesn't achieve the outcome. Or does it?
Well, it would have been a 1-1 tie of Hayley and DC, and then obviously DC will go home on the revote, but still.
Yeah, you needed a second vote in there, and it's a huge call. It's not an idol we're talking about here. There's no certainty of this happening to risk throwing out. But look, maybe Kate. Look, Kate's got an alliance with Hayley through the final 7 thing. Khan has an alliance, or at least a relationship with her from when they were on the Swap Tribe. Both of them are effectively torching a potential significant ally by throwing a vote on her.
Yeah, and I definitely think that the choice of Hayley was a wrong one. We see, I think Tara is talking to either, I think it might be Zoe, where she's like, the reason we're going for Hayley is because that would upset the least amount of people. That could not be further from the truth. You've got that Final 7 alliance that's not going to be happy about it. Out of everyone on Orange, I'd say she is probably the person that is most beloved in that group, her and Jacob. So I think if you were going to target someone in Orange, maybe Megan, but I guess she just publicly received an idol clue, so who knows? I think that Hayley was the wrong call, and I'm not just saying that because she's my winner pick.
I think Megan was the right call if you were trying to get the numbers there, but I think this was people were intimidated by Hayley. She's a strong player. She's in a strong position in the game, and it wasn't a move to save DC and Tara. It was, can we make a move and make a big move and get the numbers on someone that people might be willing to make a move on?
Well, that's it here. This is pretty much outside of DC. They're like, because people are like, well, DC is the safe vote, right? The easy vote, we can get numbers for that. Hayley and Tara are two massive threats. So they're like, all right, well, let's get a threat here, because they can't go after Mark, who's the ultimate threat at this point in time, like as the way they see it. So let's get the next two best options. If we don't want Tara, then who else is looking threatening? Hayley. Megan doesn't look threatening here. Megan's still playing in the middle, doesn't seem to know what she's doing based off Hayley's analysis. It was very cranky in the middle of the game. So this tribal was about a threat analysis, not about numbers. As much as they thought it was about obtaining numbers back, they were only looking at major threats, not who's playing the middle and who can I bring in as a number.
This is true. And look, Mark is wasting no time making it about him. Yes, Mark, I will take back the criticisms of you last week. It was actually a very, very smart play because, it gave Mark implicit immunity. And essentially, I mean, I think the main reason that no one, like Jess and Zoe in particular, weren't willing to go after any of the oranges. Shut up, CK. Because it's only good for that one round in their mind. So if you don't vote for Mark, well, he can just play it on whoever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So you got to basically do what Mark wants. Otherwise, all right, I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
And
all right, Mark, well done.
The paper rip. Look, Tara didn't buy it 100%.
Tara didn't buy it, but no one else bought her not believing it.
But I don't think everyone else bought it either. But is it out of the question? No. Like, it seems very convenient. But I love Mark's little explanation here. It's so good, right? Because he says to Tara, I ripped it off because I didn't want people to know about it when I showed them my idol clue, because then they were going to target you, Tara. Not me, you, because they don't want me to get the super idol. And if any of the bounty hunters, this twist that he's come up with, are gone, then I don't get the super idol. So I was protecting you, Tara, and Zoe, but I was protecting you, Tara, by ripping this off and keeping it secret. It's just a masterpiece.
Whose mind works like that? That's just crazy. The layers to think of that in such a quick succession is mental.
Yeah. I think if more people had asked to see the paperwork, we might have had a few more questions asked. Like, why would you rip that off? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, if you ripped it off, where'd you put it? Show me the ripped off bit.
But I feel like everyone's position would be, I burnt it. Everyone's position would be like, though, I think everyone had a level of suspicion, or even if on this, is this legit? Some people just believed it, I think. But if you had to dive deep, I reckon there'd still be, is this legit? And I reckon most would be like, I don't know, and I'm not prepared to risk it. I reckon that would have been, and that was enough.
Yeah.
And it's only for one round.
Yeah.
As like, we already see Jacob is putting in the work to get rid of him next time. It's like, all right, we can't get him here. We'll get him next time. That's fine.
He has an idol, though. He has an idol.
Yeah, well, it has to be a blind side. But Jacob's going to do that. Mark's saying, tip for future LIG players, don't waste time sleeping.
The sad thing for Mark is, he's the best ally in the world. He's giving out advantages to his allies. He's telling Jacob how to complete the Evie Jagoda puzzle. Like, he is right there for his two best allies, and they don't fucking trust him at all. And they're looking to boot him.
Hayley trusts him.
Still looking to boot him.
I think Jacob is coming to her being like, we need to boot him next time. I don't think she's as keen, but because Jacob's her number one, I think she's going to go with it. I think if she had her way, she'd keep him around a little bit longer.
I do think Jacob's more scared of Mark. I do think Hayley is more, he's going to win. I think she said that in numerous times. She's doesn't believe that he's out to get her. She just thinks he's going to win.
And I think that for Hayley, she probably needs to keep him around a bit longer because he's a really good shield for her. If they come for the oranges, they are coming for Mark. Yeah.
He's too good a shield.
Because I think at this point, if those oranges, say those 4 oranges stick together, Mark would win out of anyone at this point. But I think if he's not there, Hayley's probably the next biggest threat. So for her, she needs to keep him around a bit longer, whereas Jacob's like, I've still got Hayley as a bit of a shield. Although Jacob probably sees himself as a bigger threat than Hayley.
Jacob is a threat. He's definitely
a strong threat, but I would say Hayley's a bigger threat.
And he came back from redemption. In fact, so that's always a factor. I think that what's really important here is that all these threats that we're referring to here, Jacob, Tara, Mark, Hayley, are there any that you'd call the big threats other than those 4? I think it's probably those 4. They need to be really mindful.
You said Mark, Hayley, Jacob, and Tara. Yeah, that's probably the big 4.
They need to be really careful. And obviously what they've done is done because if it was in the past. But what they need to be very careful that they do not hyper-focus on each other because they're the sort of people that get booted now, and you get people like Takan, Zoe,
Lions
Jeff,
and the hyenas.
Just sliding in behind them, Megan, like for the win.
I think I would put Jess up there as a threat as well, but probably she's not as seen as a threat as much as the others are.
I think she's the one that's behind them without them realizing she's coming.
She's sitting there just.
I don't think anyone here is goatee in any way, but who are the lesser threats that are sliding through? Your Zoe's, Megan.
I don't think you could call anyone a goat in this group.
No, there's no goats. But who are the lesser threats that might slide through?
Zoe and Megan currently they don't really have much to their game as of yet. Megan less than Zoe.
And Kate. I think Kate's in that category too.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying Jess was the boss of the pre-merge. Yeah, she was. Absolutely.
This is true, but the only person who saw this was Zoe. So it's not going to be strong final travel council.
Zoe's not turning on her.
Yeah, there's also not strong final travel council material.
No, she needs to...
I boss bitch the pre-merge doesn't mean much for the jury that went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose for me, I'm calling her a threat. The fact that she survived the pre-merge definitely helps, but you just look at her way of talking to people, how everyone gravitates to her, everyone really likes her, everyone wants to work with her. That is so threatening. She is the social threat.
100%.
Yeah, everyone else, they've made these big moves, they're strategic, they're good at challenges. Jess is just, now, hi, I'm just here to have fun. Oh, you want to be my friend? Okay, I'll work with you. That's fine.
Liz is alive in the comments today. She's saying, everyone saw them go to those travels.
They didn't see that. They saw them come back from all the tribal.
Yeah, you went at the
tribal and see what they did actively at tribal. They're only going to hear hearsay of that from Zoe. They didn't actually see them in tribal, except for the one.
Yeah. In fact, if I remember correctly, I watched the Playing with Fire merge episode. CK, didn't you refer to Caitlin and John as goats, even though they had been to every single tribal? So that clearly didn't matter to your mind that, they've been to all these tribals, they're a big threat.
I thought they were Laurel's goats. I thought Laurel had done all the moves and work, and they're just along for the ride.
No, I know, but the fact that they had been to every tribal you weren't there going, we got to watch out for these guys. They've been to every tribal, look at them go. Like, it's not something... Yeah, and Liz is saying, do you remember how John won by going to every tribal? So, but
John
I think
they're not... John didn't say that.
People don't disregard the pre-merge. When you get to merge,
John didn't say this in his final tribal counter speech. He might have mentioned that Denise went to every final tribal, but I don't know if he mentioned that he went to every tribal. And if he had said that, I might have voted for it. But he didn't. I just heard about Denise.
I Jess does need to start playing a little more here, though, to have a compelling final tribal.
I mean, I think...
not overtly, but I need to see her impact in the game, because right now she's kind of is swaying in the breeze.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends what her end game is. I think her end game is just go with Zoe. if her plan, if in her mind she's like, right, this big threat, we've got to take them out, and then I can get there with the other people, then that's a valid strategy. And I think
No,
here
completely.
she wanted to take Tara out.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm aware that she's played so much already, Liz.
This is very active tonight. She just called me a goat.
That's the most active I've ever seen Liz.
This is actually a valid comment. If they shouldn't have voted me out. As if I was going to win that game. I would have got one
you
vote.
could never be a goat.
No, but I was going to get one vote. I was a hate goat. Like, no one's going to vote for me.
Yeah, they're like, everyone's going to vote for me because I'm not CK.
Yeah, bring me to the end. I get one vote from Max, and the rest of you can duke it out. It would have been a smart play.
Listen, I just don't want. I don't think she's played super heavily, like strong arming anybody, but she's been involved in all the strategy. I just like to see a little bit more of that at this point. Like, I would like to see her continue that, not outward run, because that's never been her game style, but a continuous. I mean, it could be the edit too. We're not seeing necessarily her running here. I just like to see a little more. Like she had very minimal confessionals in this episode compared to everybody else.
Mm. But we're only 2 episodes into the merge. Now is the time that a winner would be laying low, I think.
No, I completely agree with you. I'm just like, I'd like as my winner.
No, I understand your point. I think it's just I think she's I don't want to compare her to Ala Gabler because I don't like him, but I think that's a fair comparison as well. She's had to do all this work pre-merge, so now she's like, I'm just going to rest back here. I'm just going to chill, and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to make some moves later.
I feel that if you are a keyboard warrior tonight, Mel agrees with you. I do agree that this was the correct play for Jess and Zoe to lay low at this merge. If they were to flex their swing vote power between the pinks and the oranges as soon as they got there, that might have worked for a round or two, but I think then that would have resulted in Jess being targeted. Maybe sooner than she's going to be if she's targeted at all.
Yeah. And we see her talk in this episode about her and Takana kind of in the middle of floaters swinging back and forth. They're sort of in with everyone, and I think that is the game she wants to play. But if you swing too much, people will take you out, and I hope that's not what she's going to do.
And that 4 are really keen to get to that 7 spot, that final 7 spot. So they're like, you see that in the mix of all the chat here, the 4 that have that advantage, the challenge advantage, are very keen to keep that 4.
I can't believe how
I know.
And the fact that
same, like Kate was having a confessionals, I was like, CK is going to be rolling his eyes about how ridiculously strong they're taking this.
Oh, Jess is here live. She's coming to her own defense. Agree. Looking back on these eps, I was very busy trying to get across all the current dynamics and alliances that I hadn't been able to see pre-merge, but meant I wasn't drawing any strong lines. Look, I just don't see why having an advantage that 3 other people have at a 7-person challenge is anything worth having.
And the fact that they're all going like, yeah, we're going to work to get to final 7, and then like it's on from there. I'm like, what? So you are going to work with 3 other people to get to final 7, and then you're allowed to vote for each other. So really, the 3 other people that you bring to final 7 become very important. And so if you're Kate and you're watching your pink guys go one by one by one, because we see her at the start of the episode being like, oh, I'm probably going to be fine till final 7 anyway, which is fair. Mm-hmm. If she's there at that final 7 with this group, and then like Mark and Haley, or Haley's already in that with Mark and, Megan, she's fucked.
Mm.
For sure.
I feel like they don't necessarily care about the challenge. I just feel like this is a cross-tribal 4-person alliance they've all decided to hang their hat on. Kate, more so, I think it's just one of many for Jacob and Haley's plans.
And I also, and you see even Jess in this says like, she's like, well, like if I like, not
if Haley goes, oh well.
She was like, if it's Haley, like, like that's one less person, I'm okay about it. She wasn't like overly stressed that was a potential.
Yeah.
Well, is there anyone you want to talk about? The Tribal Council, DC, obviously.
It's Tarkan with the call to Tara and the trust there for her to go, oh, fuck, I'm going to listen to him. That was crazy too.
But to see her, but the way her body language completely changed when he told her,
Yes.
she was very confident going to that tribal that, oh, we're voting out Hayley. The plan is happening. And then just to see her just collapse in on herself and just be like, oh my God, I'm about to be voted out. That was just, I felt that through my screen.
There was a lot of discussion happening, and
Yeah.
Takan was much closer to that than Tara was. But you're absolutely right. It was Takan's call that she listened to and believed, which is quite ironic because, you know, that was who DC thought was his bestie. And ultimately, he didn't tell DC to play shot in the dark. But it's an unfortunate consequence for DC. He was probably not long for this world. And we talk about this in the interview we'll play a bit later. But he had a lot of bad luck. And notably, he never went to a summit. And he got swapped onto a tribe with his own people and Altus, who they voted out. So he never really had an opportunity, and not like Altus was going to like bring him into the yellows. So he never really got an opportunity to make a cross-tribal relationship that could help him emerge that everyone else was effectively able to do, other than Coach would be the other one that wasn't able to really do that effectively.
And then he comes in sort of linked with Coach, who people are not really vibing. And for Jess and Zoe, if it is pink versus orange and they have to choose, you're probably going to go with the smaller group because all 5 pinks are still there. And I think orange were clearly a tighter group, which is probably not the one you want to go with, or probably not the one you should go with, but I think it's the one you probably feel the best about. Because these guys are solid, I'm going to link up with them rather than this group who could be turning on each other next round.
It wasn't also...
age factor plays in here too. Like you're going with people who feel a little bit more like yourself, more comfortable in that environment. Whereas if you're looking at like as Jess and Zoe, they're looking at DC and Coach, and then like Mark and Hayley, and like again, there's a bit of age difference, but it's a lesser age gap, and there's more mix for them in orange. Whereas the other side's like they're shuttered, so they're not really like my vibe. Let's just go over here. This seems stronger.
A fun fact that wasn't in the interview that we'll see in a bit is that he actually designed the urn and the snuffer. He said when he had his interview, at the end of the interview, he suggested he could do that, you know. They said, we'll do that for us then. And they were sort of joking, Kyle and Brian, but he did it anyway. They're like, we were joking about that. He's like, too late, I've made them. And so that's why he says nice snuffer at the end. And his torch.
Love that. I love that. Fantastic.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. The chat is talking about Jacob, he went, and Tara, and then Mark talks about Jacob being able to pull his vote out to bed and rebuild the bridge. I don't know if he's talking about the Greens, but I also think this is I still don't really understand, and I'll have to wait till I interview them, while Jess and Zoe booted Jacob over Tara to then basically never work with Tara again.
I think the fact that he didn't have a vote and Tara potentially had 2 was a real factor.
What? So what? She makes it 2-2. You're telling me that on a 2-2 she doesn't get a revote?
Okay, but these girls also struggled with the concept that Kath couldn't play a shot in the dark without a vote. I don't think they're thinking that much in detail. They're not ORCAs. They're not sitting there thinking about the numbers going here. They haven't got the imaginary chalkboard in their head. They go, Jacob doesn't have a vote. Tara has a vote. We're going with Tara. See, Jess is telling me I'm right.
Well, another thing Jess hasn't done is she's not giving off the ORCA energy, as you said, because if somebody promised me their extra vote if I didn't boot them off and they hadn't given it to me yet, I'd be like, where's my extra vote, Tara?
No, Tara has no
I'm like, give me the extra vote.
I'd be strong-arming her against a wall, standing around with my posse and saying, where's my extra vote?
And I think we would be bringing it up at Tribal too.
Yeah. Tara promised me the extra vote.
Guys, Tara's promised me the extra vote. I have not got it. Tara has got an extra vote. Let's get rid of her.
Jess seems to be just like letting this go, and I don't like it.
No. Get that extra vote, girl. That's the whole point of news.
Because she doesn't want to make waves. She just wants to chill for a little bit. She had a very stressful day on day one. Day two, she wants to kind of relax a little bit.
Tara's not even like pretending. She's not even like, oh no, that wasn't the deal. She's wandering around.
I'm going to play my extra vote, and then we've got the numbers.
My extra vote. Jess is like, that's my extra vote.
It's not yours. It's mine. Give it to me.
Yeah, well, it remains Tara's until she gives it over, unfortunately. Promises don't mean shit.
All right. Should we go back to the start of the episode and then catch up back to where we were?
Let's go back to the very beginning. A very good place to start. So I don't have a lot before the challenge. Just a lot of conversations going around. DC is not really happy that Coach was the vote, but he couldn't get his pinks together. And he talked about that in the episode last week. Orange got together, decided what was happening, and Pink was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that shows why they're such a good group. They can come together and go, this is what we're doing. Tara has a confessional talking about the super idol, and she calls back Tony, and she's like, this is Tony pulling out a real idol and saying it's a super idol. Like, Tara is not falling for it. Everyone else is. And then Takan is going around telling everyone about Mark's bounty idol, which I'm like, my note literally says a bit late now. Like, you should have been telling people this before Tribal and got Mark to vote incorrectly.
I was like, exactly. I'm like, why are people so shocked about this fact? Because he told enough people that there were enough people to tell everybody else. The fact that nobody else was like, why are we giving him an extra something?
Yeah. So now they think he's got a super idol and a regular idol.
Can we talk about his regular idol that expires at a really bizarre point in the game?
7, right? That's 7.
Yeah. Khan's legacy advantage expires at 6. How does an legacy advantage that you found on a back of a puzzle piece get you a final 6, whereas the things Mark's had to do for this bounty idol and the hoops he's jumped through for a final 7 expiry, please.
Well, there's
very early.
We know Megan's got a new idol. We don't know when that expires. And then there's potentially 3 other ones hidden around camp. I think it was potentially an advantage getting situation, so they had to put some earlier expiries on these.
I feel the North, South, West idols have expired, even if they are found by now.
Interesting. We'll see.
Unless they were, well, then it doesn't really make a difference. Like, they have to expire before the final 7, because if they're worried about advantage getting final 7, then, you know, Mark's would be earlier.
I don't know about that. Because Mark's was kind of a gimme idol, really.
No, it wasn't. He had to take the right thing off the table, and then he had to pick the right person who was getting booted. Which, to be honest, he got booted for like going hard on that again and getting away with it. Like, risky play. Of course, he had a super idol to back him up, but
I don't know. I want them to go and find these other idols and find out when they expire, and then I'm interested to see when Megan's idol expires next week.
Where did she find her idol again? I'm blanked on this.
She got it. Jake, when we get to the challenge, Jacob had to give someone a clue, and then she had the little stump picture.
Oh, yes, the one at the track.
At the end, she chipped over all the stumps.
Oh, did she find it? I didn't see her find it. She found it.
Yeah, she grabbed it.
Yeah. Her and Haley were tipping over all the
Her and Haley were tipping them all over.
Her, like, get it.
It was I had to watch it closely. I think, Haley, you're in the chat, let us know, but I'm pretty sure we saw her. She definitely turned over the right one, and then I thought I saw something. You know,
she turned over the right one after she turned over like another 7. She didn't even try and match the picture. Her and Haley are just like.
Mel saying, "Come on, Jules. You know the time frame in games to organize this in 10 minutes is impressive. Not gonna lie." What?
I don't know. I think that's from a while ago.
You asked idol. You said Mark's is a gimme idol. I think she's talking about. It's impressive.
No. But I more meant he didn't have to orchestrate the vote. He just had to know who was going.
I'm just saying that's worth more than getting gifted These are the comparisons. One is he has to choose the advantage, then he has to get the right vote, and that's all very public, right? Whereas the other one is, here's a clue, here's where it is. Like, it's...
Yeah, Haley confirmed she got the idol.
I'm just saying, Megan didn't have to do anything comparatively to what Mark had to do, but was...
But she got a public clue for it.
Mark's clue was public. He got it at the breakfast.
But he didn't have to take that. That was his choice.
I'm just saying, One idol was
And
a
look,
lot
one
harder
thing I
to
will
get
say,
to
I
know.
did just say all you have to do is know what the vote is. Historically in Backyard Survivor, merge boots are very, very, very messy votes. I think we've had a lot of ties, near ties, revotes, idols. So the fact that it was a unanimous vote, I think it's a first here. So I'll
Conversation's
check
over
that a
because
little
Mel
bit.
agrees with me, so I'm correct.
Yeah.
I feel like this is
honestly, that's the deciding. That's why I've changed my mind, because Mel agrees.
I think this is an
Mel
early.
said I
too
agree with
early.
CK. It's like, oh, okay,
I just feel like
I need to check myself.
his idol is a little bit. If Mel's coming to my side, you're like, oof, maybe I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
I get it. I just feel that the Mark's idol is expiring a little bit early for what he had to do for it. That's
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's unfortunate, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so in terms of we see that we've got they're trying to find the north, south, east, west idols. No, Megan and Kate are both right near it. We get the lovely little highlighted screen and the arrows, and
Good.
they're not getting it.
They're not easy to see though. Like
No.
they're not big.
No.
They're tiny.
No, I
Maybe
think it's
it's just
something else
another
that Backyard have done historically. Me watching Backyard 4, where no one found those fucking pre-merge idols because they're in the board with the cross on it. I think they've overcorrected from season 1, where it was just the lucky dip of what water bottle you pull out to get the idol clue. To here's it really hard to find.
There's a chance those aren't even the idols. It's like another scroll with another direction you have
next
to find.
clue.
They're not little scrolls.
We'll see. Look, not a lot before the challenge as well. There's already whispering of DC being the easy vote with a possible Tara blindside. We get a good confession from Haley where she's like, why do people not know what they're doing? Like, right now, you should know who you're going to go to the end with. You know who 1 and 2 is. I'm going to the end with Jacob. That's what I'm doing.
I loved it. I loved it.
I love her so much.
Calling people out for their lack of game and agency. She's like, how do people not know? Even if it's like a semblance of a plan, you have your idea of like how you would like to move through the game, and you've got to be flexible with it because it moves.
Your plans can change, absolutely.
100%. But you cannot go from vote to vote and be like, what's happening, people? Because
unless you're on the stone cold bottom and it's like, I'm just trying to survive. 100%. If you're in a position of power, which I think most people probably feel like they're in a good position, they should be thinking about, they have at least an idea of who do I want at the end and who do I not want at the end.
Exactly.
Who's on my list of people that I need to get out. So, yeah.
It's not your exact, because it's now they know what to find out to. Even if it's not like who you're sitting there with, you want to know who you're going to progress through the game with. So at that point, well, it's not these people. I need to target them.
Yeah. I actually think the who don't I want becomes less relevant in a final 2. Like, there's more pathways to ensure those people don't end up there. Not to say that you wouldn't take them out, but I feel like...
Well, no, because the fact that the person who wins final immunity has so much say, I think it also that becomes a factor as well, because if Dani and I are going to the end, Dani's my number 1, I'm going to the end with her. But if CK, you're in a tight 3 with us, and I'm like, well, if CK wins, he's going to take Dani, not me. So CK, I don't want you at 3.
I want to go in this scenario, Dani. How do you feel about this?
That's right.
No, I just you like her more than you like me.
I'm not taking who I like. I'm taking who I'm going to beat.
In your mind, you beat both of us. To be fair.
I do appreciate what you're saying. I do think this is why Haley and Jacob.
You didn't admit it.
What? I don't know who I'm going to beat. I don't know what game we played. I don't know what this jury makeup is. This is what I was going to talk about, right? But Haley and Jacob are a great pair to be in a type 2. Because I don't actually think I could tell you who's going to win out of the 2 of them at the moment. Once you have the full jury and you do the numbers, they're both very well liked and respected. They're both playing similarly subtle games. I feel like Haley has a slight edge just like going in, but I feel like Jacob could be perhaps a little bit more persuasive in his arguments. But as a pairing, it's the sort of pairing where, this isn't for $1 million. We've been tight the whole game. Let's just go to the end together and see what happens.
Yeah, this is it's a jury that's really going to split the jury.
Yeah, I think if they run this game together all the way through, it's going to come down to, well, which of the 2 of them had more agency? And I think people are going to see Haley as having a bit more say than Jacob did. And as Liz has said, 1 has been voted out. That is a factor for some. Some people might be like, well, Jacob was voted out, so I'm not going to vote for him.
He was also swap screwed. So you can sort of discount the boot a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point I'm making is they're a great pair.
Oh, I
Can't
love
see
them.
them turning on each other at all, and they seem to hold all the power. So while everyone's worrying about Mark, what they really should be worrying about is those two.
And we see the two of them, they talk about they really like Jess, who's really tight with Zoe, and they all like Takan. If that little group gets together, that looks really good. I don't mind that. And then for my fantasy team, I'd like them to bring Kate in on that, just so
Is
that
that
all
little
my
group though in a world like is that a bad move? I think that like Jacob's got such a desire to take out Mark too soon. I think they need Mark with them. They need Mark plus two of those people, not three of those people with Jacob and Haley. That's how Jacob and Haley get booted at 5 and 4.
They need to have Megan with them as well.
I know. I think Mark's the one. You want everyone looking at Mark at Final 5. Everyone worried about Mark at Final 5. That's what they need. And he's with them. That is the game they should be playing.
But Jacob doesn't trust Mark.
I know, but
That's what you say.
He should, but he doesn't.
Mark has done absolutely nothing to Jacob for Jacob not to trust him. Absolutely nothing. He's never been anything but loyal to that guy.
Yeah, but Jacob doesn't see it that way.
I know.
Yeah.
And this wasn't in the review either. But I reflected on that, and I asked DC, how did you feel about when Mark was doing that? Because you're trying to complete the puzzle. And he's like, I was incredibly angry. Like I can do that puzzle. He says he has a 3D printer. He's done that puzzle himself. He just had a brain fart in the moment. But once he was able to, if he had a chance to reset himself, he absolutely would have done the puzzle quickly. Mm-hmm. He was just like, mentally had to reset. And in that time, Mark gave Jacob the answer. And he felt like to shut up. Not that I don't know if it would have mattered, but like he felt like doing that. Like, I don't know if Mark would have stopped. But, that's what a brutal couple of like moments for DC. That missing immunity because of that. Then the shot of the dart, like.
Yeah. Well, we're about to get into the challenge. So we've obviously got the different stages, and then there's only, how many of them were doing the puzzle at the end? Was it 4 of them?
3.
Haley was there, Jacob was there, DC was there. I think someone else was there.
No.
3. Okay, anyway.
There was a 4th table, but no one got there.
Oh, okay. So there's 3 of them doing the puzzle, and Mark just starts shouting out how to do it. Now, from Mark's perspective, this is clever because he's keeping immunity in the hands of someone he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
He's also making sure that the idol clue goes in the hands of someone he trusts, because that is a big twist, that the winner of the challenge gives someone else an idol clue. Now, should he be allowed to do this is the question.
Australian Survivor says yes. American Survivor says no. Tell us your thoughts in the comments.
South Africa. What about South Africa? South Africa, I think yes.
I think South
I
Africa.
haven't seen enough South Africa to know.
It was yes.
I'm probably in the anything's fair. Like it's a social game. It's a social game. It's a call.
Okay.
And I mean, Jacob had no idea how to do that puzzle. He didn't even, when he solved it, he was like, is that it? Did I do it? Like, he didn't even know.
Yeah.
So he was never going to solve that on his own in a million years. He needed help.
Think about this. DC wins immunity, gets an idol, plays it on Tara. Could be massive.
Mm-hmm. They weren't out of the challenge. So I think that's a big factor. And other people that hadn't made it to that spinny thing, they're out and they're not part of it anymore. Mark is still technically fighting for a spot.
Because there's an empty desk, an empty podium for the puzzle. Well,
What was with that boy, like, just tied on super tight and they couldn't get it around?
You had to loosen it up like Haley did. You had to have a...
I know, it's just everybody watching the movie like, what is happening here?
You had to loosen it. You see, Haley loosened it all up.
And then she just whipped it through. No problem at all.
It was fine. Most of them couldn't understand it. They just went like,
But is that the factor of why it's okay and not okay? Because they're still in the challenge, so they can yell out whatever they want.
I think that's absolutely right. I think that's a good call. If someone else was on that table, it's maybe more of a questionable decision. Maybe you should be shutting up. Mark is saying Mark had an unfriendly boy, And
Mark
Mark
says
said,
he's with steel chain, the rest was slack rope.
oh, how tight it was. DC said his was very tough as well, and he had to like brute force it with those muscles he was identified as having in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, we're talking about, we will need to get back to our draft.
Have you scored it? Because I meant to
we
score
were meant to score it at the start of the episode.
Yeah, we had this James Wolfe thing instead. Let's score it for next week. Unless you have the scores. Do you have them?
I haven't like written them up, but I've got the.
We can work them out. Pretty much everyone's been a unanimous vote, so
it's more complicated. No, it's not good TV to try and do the numbers. I've tried it. Like it's my system is too complicated. So
all right, after we go off the air tonight, let's do the scores.
Yeah.
And we'll put a post on the page that everyone knows, because I want to know. I believe that I'm probably winning.
Right. You could do it if you want. You can do it while I play the interview. Are we ready for the interview?
Well, okay. I haven't really. Hang on. I think we covered everything, actually, to be fair. I've got a lot of notes here, but
I was like, why is Megan telling Mark about the clue? You said it right at the end of the episode before they go to tribal. Like, Mark asked her about the clue and she tells him about it. I'm like, what? This man has enough power. Why are you telling him about the clue?
Because it's her ally. It's her ally.
She didn't show him the clue. I think she's just letting him know that she hasn't got it yet.
Yeah.
They're all working with Mark.
I was laughing at my cat is here.
Mark is an amazing shield. They're all working with him. Keep him close.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear from Jacob how much of a concern Mark is. We don't hear that from Megan. Megan is probably still all in on Orange and Mark to Final Five, and then Mark can get booted then.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put on the interview. You guys can work out the scoring if you want in the meantime. And then we can come back, and then it will be time for TWIOLSH. ORCA Pod, thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
I feel like you were never really able to get off the start line, even though you made the merge. And I sort of know what this is like. You got there, and it seemed like all the doors were shut. And it feels like you were really unlucky that you never got the time to really make those other connections. Was that your experience?
Yeah, it was kind of like there was no chance to get any traction whatsoever. I mean, Tarkan and I hooked up right at the very beginning. And when they were all talking about, like, his name was bubbling around, I was shutting that down right at the beginning. So I kind of and we hooked up very early on. But, a tribe of two doesn't work. And Tarkan kind of clicked into that. Plus, I kind of got the suspicion, well, very early on, it was very clear in our tribe that we had a pair, we had a couple. And that was kind of like very obvious, and it was kind of difficult to break into that. And I think Tarkan kind of looked at me and looked at Dave and just went, yeah, DC, you're my man and all that sort of stuff. But really, coach is always going to go with the tribe and the tribe number, which is great for strength, and a number that you can kind of work with and get rid of when you need to. And so if I was Tarkan actually ended up in the middle. I think I said at one stage Dave was. It wasn't. It was Tarkan who was in the middle. And it was very clear that, and also speaking to him after the game, that, he was obviously going to lean toward the two girls because there's strength there.
Well, I've got you on that. This is the big question we're talking about, the podcast. You guys never went to a tribal council as the original Pink. Post-game, has there been discussion? Do you know what would have happened if you'd gone to a tribal council, noting you're saying Tarkan was perhaps the swingman?
Yes. So I actually brought this up when we went out. We went out, a week, 2 weeks ago. We did an escape room. Because I was kind of, had they thrown the challenge as the Tara was suggesting, and honestly, that particular challenge, the one with the cube, we made it by the skin of our teeth and only on a technicality. The girls did finish first. They didn't call it. We did.
That's not a technicality. You called it. You won.
Well, I mean, there was a bit of that puzzle that was kind of sticking out about 2 inches. Anyway, so had we gone hypothetically to a vote at that time, I raised it to Tarkan at dinner. I said, hey, if we'd gone to a vote then, I would have been targeting Tara, clearly. And because, for various reasons, not just the ones you would think about. and basically I said, could I have convinced you to have gone down that path? And he kind of basically just said at the time, he said, no, David, you probably couldn't. So it would have been coach anyway.
Yeah, you just would have gone there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would have been the agenda I would have been pushing. But yeah, Tarkan said no, he wouldn't have done that.
It's interesting, and we did see on the final Tribal Council here where you were voted out, that Tarkan did have Tara's back more than yours, noting that he tells her to play a shot in the dark, doesn't tell you to do that. And of course, he and Kate just go along with the votes anyway. And don't put votes on an alternate option in case Tara's shot in the dark works, which of course you're not going to predict that. 6 years of American Survivor it took to hit one, and Tara hit the second one ever played on Backyard. Did you feel at the time that they'd all abandoned you, your old pinks?
Oh, look. So there's this wonderful piece that didn't make the cut. So we all hit after the first merge tribal. We all went through the well and people scattered. I kid you not, it was like rats leaving a sinking ship. I was stood there by myself outside of the one well area, and I just stood there like, Mr. No Mates, and I went, well, this is my problem, and then had to go off and scramble.
Yeah.
And I think one of the problems with the Pink Tribe, for whatever reason, particularly, and sorry, Tara, I'm going to put it out there, don't play an individual game so fucking early. Seriously, mate. We had the bloody numbers and you abandoned us. If you are single people going into various different tribes and you make it through that, my God, you've got a really good opportunity. And they didn't take it. And that was one of the big disappointments for me. We actually had something that we could have done. Mark, I've got to put it out there. All credit to him. He managed to hang that vote on coach. And at that point, because I felt completely alone, I started making inroads with a couple of other people. I think it was Haley and maybe Megan. I can't remember. It's 2 years ago now, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And they said, look, Pink doesn't exist anymore. They've all gone off in their own different directions. I'm a number. Use me. So that's what it came down to. You don't see those conversations, but that's pretty much what happened. And then when we actually finally did get together, we were a vote too late. Even with the little Haley plan we had, it relied on us knowing that Mark was going to vote for me. It needed one person on the other group to be voting for someone else for it to work. It was still, the numbers were too bloody dicey. We'd end up sending it to Rox if you kind of went down that path. So great idea, not necessarily practical.
I think the challenge for you was probably twofold in this regard. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you never got an opportunity to go to the well for a summit?
That's right. And that again is partly because we kept thinking the one that I wanted to go to was the end one. I thought, okay, I'm going to play it so the summit towards the end before we get to the merge, if I get that far, that's the one to hit. So I was kind of like delaying myself, and then Kate got bloody boned by the Beware advantage. And at that point, we had a choice. I could either go to the summit and be completely selfish, or I could protect Kate, let her go and see if she could offload.
So on that last one, they changed the rules that it didn't have to be someone who hadn't previously attended.
I think so, yeah.
It's really unfortunate for you. You were playing a strategy to the rules, and then the rules get changed in the last one.
It's Survivor, man.
I know, you got to be flexible. But that's a tough break.
So we decided to send Kate out to see if she could offload to protect Kate. And one of the things, I don't know whether it's an age thing or whatever, but I did something for all of them to protect them at some stage. More overt, less overt. So Takana did it twice. And one was very, very bloody obvious. Kate, that was our way of kind of protecting her, and well played her. She came back to camp. She sold it 100%, saying I got rid of them. Yeah. But we kind of suspected she hadn't. So it was kind of like, we were really protecting Kate in that instance. So, we were really a tribe that looked after each other. Same with Tara. At one stage, there was something going on. Like I remember the problem is with Tara's gameplay, it's a selfish gameplay. It's about her and how she wants to play. There's this wonderful moment in episode 3. I didn't see the podcast, but I'm pretty sure it would have been picked up, where Tara's trying to talk to me. But what they did is they cut out the question in front of it.
Yeah.
So you don't actually know why I was being so cagey.
Yeah.
So it just looks like I'm being uncommunicative. I'm not. I'm going, if I answer that question, I'm going to drop myself in the shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, and they put this lovely tinkly music underneath it, and it makes me look like a numpty. Well, that's
the edit. The
oh, look,
I do like your play. If you had gone to that final summit, then you would have been part of this like final 7, advantage alliance that's going on, and that would have given you the inroads to have some relationships at the merge. I think the challenge is you didn't get the chance to make those relationships, which pretty much everyone else did. The swap was not in your favor. You got no new relationships out of the swap, and the fact is, as being an older gentleman who's confident, but you're quite strong. You're happy to share your views. Without the ability to build some rapport, it's very difficult to then like get your way.
It's really hard, and I wear this badge proudly. I think I'm the oldest person to play an LRG. I'm definitely the oldest person to play Backyard Survivor at the time. Hopefully, that will change over time. But the ageism is palpable. It's really hard. Like I get on with all sorts of people. I mean, in my job, I work with people from 18 to 80. And it's never really a problem. Again, I suppose there's common ground because you're working together. But this was hard, man. I mean, I connected with Mel straight away, right in the first summit. I connected with her. Common ground as far as experience and stuff was concerned. Haley and I have spoken since, because as soon as that little single moment that I had by myself, I went straight to Haley.
Yeah.
Caught up with
the older people, not old, but older.
Yeah, older.
You could build that relationships with.
And Haley and I clicked straight away and said, okay, I've got you back.
Yeah.
So, you trust that always to a certain degree. But afterwards, after we'd watched the first edit a couple of months ago, she got on the line and said, David, I really did want to work with you at that time, just fell to bits. And unfortunately, the Haley vote wasn't, in some cases, it was kind of Haley's a threat, but in mine, it wasn't. It was, we thought that Meg may have an idol at that point. We thought we knew Mark did, and we suspected Jacob may have something as well. So it really only came down to Haley. It was a purely logical choice.
Yeah, sensible choice. You are one of the very few. You say you're the oldest LRG player. We'll get Eden to fact check that.
Please, Ed.
What you also are is the only one of 2 people that have appeared on an actual reality TV show shown on commercial television.
Oh yeah, talking about crap edits.
I haven't watched the summit, but I did look it up on Wikipedia, and it appears you were first out. How is your experience compared to the summit, compared to playing Backyard?
Oh, look, Backyard's a shitload more fun. The lovely thing about the LRGs, and I've said this to Brian and Kyle so many times, it's Survivor in its purest. They don't screw around with things to make a player more prominent, or there's no production mucking around in the background. The summit was an amazing experience. It was something that I had no plans to do whatsoever. They came chasing me after my Survivor, because I've been very, very far in the Survivor casting process.
And they reached out.
I got down to for the Brains versus Brawn, I went a very long way. Okay. So I kind of think it kind of came out of that. And so yeah, I was terrified. I was going like, I shouldn't be doing this at my age. I'd have stopped swimming about 6 months ago. So the way it went down was that I broke my foot. So I literally we were about 4 hours into the hike. We were all walking over this rock, and don't believe the bloody edit. I was never at the end, and they were never waiting for me. I was always in the middle at the front. Whenever we sat down, generally together, they only showed me. So the edit was really vicious for me. And so I did the obstacles, I did the hike, I did everything with a broken foot.
Wow. Amazing.
So we got to the end of the first day. I didn't even look at my foot until the following day. And that was when I took it to the doc. And the doc took one look at it. My foot was black.
Yeah.
It was actually black and blue from the tip to the ankle.
Wow.
And she said, you can't go on. So she'd already pulled me from the game. But clearly production thought, well, that's going to be a pissant bloody way to start the first episode. We'll get them to vote him out. So it was, not unanimous, but it was nearly unanimous.
Well, that's very fine. It's better to go out like that than an injury. But they didn't show your toughness. That's the thing.
That was the thing that disappointed me, was the fact that while they kind of showed that the foot had happened, and plus they've got to be careful because their safety people weren't on board because they missed that hole. So it was what happened was there was the pathway we were walking on that it was all overgrown, and it had obviously grown over the top of this hole. And I turned around and put my foot on it and went straight through, and it literally bent my toe all the way back.
Yeah.
So it fractured the end of my bone and tore the ligaments apart. So it was pretty nasty. But I mean, it's a great experience. If you can get onto one of these things, it's something else. Now, there's different levels of production interaction and all that sort of stuff depending on the game you play. But you meet some amazing people. I mean, Maddie Rogers, one of the best compliments I've ever had was from Maddie Rogers. So he came up to me in the car park after we'd finished. And he gave me a big hug and he just whispered in my ear. He said, David, nobody wanted to play but you.
Yeah.
And,
he likes to play. He knows Survivor.
He knows how to play
the second time around.
So it was a lovely compliment from him. And, some of the other cast members, and I've made some great mates in there as well. So, and it's lovely watching Tay going on to Love Island, which we thought was hilarious.
I also, as you say, there was some ageism, but how did you feel when you saw the edit at the end and on the first vote, the Tommy vote, you were being lumped into the strong men category? So the ageism wasn't there. You were the buff men. Yeah,
casual ageism was you, my friend, as well in that first ORCA pod. Saying, 50, he can't be buff. Mate, can you ride a unicycle?
No, I cannot. But balance and buffness are different things.
Well, you have to be pretty tough to be able to ride a unicycle, particularly if you end up with a pedal in your shins.
Good course.
So, yeah, I mean, size was instant. I mean, that was the thing that Kate picked on straight away there's nothing buff about this body, mate. I stopped exercising about 2 years ago and I've got to get back into it. No, there's absolutely nothing buff. But that kind of being lumped in with the buff guys was kind of a nice compliment.
A nice compliment. It's a good thing to hear. That's where you want to be. Look, thank you for coming on DC. Such great takes, such great interesting parts of your game. You're a fantastic character who obviously stood out and was happy to sort of be very clear about what he wanted to achieve. It's just you were never given the tools to try and actually achieve those things. But sometimes those are the breaks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think one of the comments that didn't make the cut that I made in one of the confessionals was, hey, I made it this far. I got to the merge and I didn't have a single toy to play with.
That's a great line. I wish they put it. Why didn't they put it in? At least you get to say it now. That's a great way to end. Thank you so much for being on DC.
You're welcome. Thanks, CK. Cheers, mate.
And kept bringing us back. What a good interview. Fantastic.
Bless him. He's such good value. Like when I met him for Sydney Survivor 2, like he was crew and he was just a great guy. Like he's everything that you think he is.
Yeah, it's easy to be drawn in by him. Like I just remember he was setting things up for Tribal, like he had the sound stuff and everything, and you're just hanging on every word because you're just like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah. I got no idea what your qualifications are, but you sound like I should be listening to you.
Absolutely.
Sadly, he had a bad run here, but that happens sometimes.
Look.
While the interview was on, you've done the score checking. Danny, do you want to reveal where we are in my complicated scoring system?
No, because I can only access one screen on my phone, so I've moved away from.
All right, I will tell you where we're at.
I'm on my phone. No, I'm sorry.
So the scores are calculated as people are voted out. So just because someone is in the lead at the moment doesn't mean that they are winning, Danny.
I've made no brain.
I know, I'm just getting it out there. At this present moment, Danny is winning with 24 points, but she only has 2 people left in the game. However, there are two people that I don't think are going anywhere anytime soon in Jess and Megan. I think they're hanging around for a little bit. CK has 5 points with 3 people left in the game. Who are your 3 people that you got left? You've got Tara, Jacob, and Mark. I think one of those is going a long way.
Jacob,
yeah, I read the other 2 along with as well. And then I am on 11.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm on 11 points, so I'm in the middle, but I have 3 people left, and I think I've got 3 very solid people left in Hayley, Takan, and Kate.
I'm manifesting a Jacob, People's Champion, Zoe, final 2. Then you don't get neither of you get any points out of Zoe being there. The people get their drinks, and I might be able to claw back out of the drinks element of this bet by way of a Jacob victory.
I think you're done, mate. I think you're done.
It's possible. I can see a Jacob Zoe final 2. It can happen.
Okay.
And the People's Champion's
you
looking
don't
good.
want like a Jacob Tara final 2?
That's not going to happen. I'm talking about realistic outcomes here.
Just give me my Hayley win, and then I'll win.
I think the People's Champion only has to make it through 4 more votes to get to that top 5.
I think we're going to Perth.
We've got a double next week, though.
Yes, I do. I am interested to see. They sort of touched on a little bit. There's going to be like a vote between if you stay or split. So is it going to be a double tribal in 2 groups or one big group with 2 vote outs? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That could result in just an unintended, just boot for someone like Zoe, which I wouldn't be surprised by, just given the edit. But they do try to edit reasonably evenly. But just given the edit, I wouldn't be surprised if Zoe goes out and some bullshit scenario like that, and the people will be outraged. The people will be walking up to Kyle and Bryce.
People already know if she made top 5 or not. It's only us really that don't know.
This is true, but they can finally unleash their outrage. The NDA is ended, and they can go wild with rage for this bullshit twist that eliminated the People's Champion in this theory that we're.
Because that wheel was very, very close. Takan was almost the People's Champion.
He was.
It was very close. Okay, so that's it for the show right now, except for TWIOLSH. So Dani will bring you back for the dance. See you soon. And now joining us in this week in TWIOLSH. Now, this is an important week for me. I've fallen to 4 and 2. I very much want to go to 5 and 3. I do not want to go to 4 and 3. This is a situation we don't want the people to win. I don't understand. So we're welcoming a absolute stalwart of the Survivor community, particularly Melbourne Survivor, where she's a heavy part of the organisation group now. I think her real claim to fame was making the promo videos for Playing with Fire, which are absolutely amazing, particularly mine. Annabelle's was also very good. But they were some amazing work from this person. She was a star of the first season of Canberra Survivor. Let's welcome her to the show, Ash. Welcome.
Hi. That was a very kind intro, CK. Very kind.
I always build it up. I
remember doing your video, and I was very excited by the fact that I got to do and edit all of those together, and yours in particular stays in my memory constantly.
I remember that you felt the need to check with me that I was comfortable with the use of the song "Toxic" from my video.
I remember that. I was like, I don't know. At that point I didn't know you. Now I feel like I know that that's not off the table at all. But back then I was like, is he gonna get mad if I make him out to be a villain? If only I knew.
I was fine. Now I don't know if this was Jules' intent to make herself a villain. No, Dani's intent. Dani does the scheduling for the contestants of TWIOLSH. And as Takan has noted, you are the Edgic God or Tara's wife. But I didn't mean to bring you. I don't know if Dani meant to bring you on this a week after Tara's ex-boyfriend beat me on the show, and now you're following in his footsteps in this game. And can you win this one? You won Tara.
I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking my boots over here. Like I've got to match up to that and beat you. I mean, I don't know if you know, but I definitely crewed a lot of these games, which means my knowledge of it is mostly ingrained in the crewing experience, not in the episodic like retelling. I've watched bits and pieces of the episode 7s. I'm, I don't know, but I will say I come bearing gifts before we get into TWIOLSH, because I do love an edit. I do love a video edit, and I know that you love yourself. And I thought, what better way to bring those two things together than to bring back classic video edit of CK. So I had a dream a couple weeks ago as I was watching Mean Girls, the new recent Mean Girls, which I didn't particularly love, but there was a song in it called Apex. Okay, all right, we can agree and disagree on that one, but there was a song in it called Apex Predator, and the first person who came to my mind when I heard this song was you. So I got to work about 12 hours ago in a mild rush, and I put together something which I've sent to Jules and Dani. And
Dani has sent CK the link. CK, we would like you to share your screen, and we want a live reaction to this.
You haven't set this up properly because I can't show a video on a link on the show. I'd have to download it and then put it in the thing.
Oh, no!
It won't have the audio.
Oh.
If I do it that way.
Well, I don't know this stuff.
Yeah, we're not equipped for this.
I
this
don't
video right now. Ashley.
Yeah, it's a YouTube video.
Yeah, but do you have the actual video that you uploaded to YouTube?
Yeah, it's on my laptop. Do you want to send? Do you want to send?
Are you on that? No, you would need to put it on for me.
We can put it on.
Yeah, we can put it on.
This is content. Do you want to do it after the quiz? Okay,
yeah,
let's do it. Tara. Guest appearance.
Oh my God, it's Backyard 5-star, Tara.
I know.
My
God, she's my tech wizard. She gets the tech stuff going on my end, and yeah, I don't know about any of this.
Hold on. Okay, I've got it. If we go present,
Can you present?
Share screen.
Share screen.
Share screen.
Will it
play
this
audio? Is some Scott Pilgrim Gauntlet featuring.
You need to go present. You need to grab the video file. Quick, Tara, video file.
Fuck, the actual file's on Ash's laptop. We're on.
Don't worry, we can wait till after. We will figure some stuff out.
Tara, go do that while Dani will send you the link, and Tara, you upload the video while Ash is doing the quiz.
Done.
I'll do it.
Wait.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to start the quiz?
Hang on, there's some good stuff here in the comments, but yes, I like this one. You know, they're like, got faith in you. Go Ash. This one from Mark. A bit of Scott Pilgrim Gauntlet for Tara's current partner. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Ash ain't no X.
I'm Scott Pilgrim though. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we're going hard. All right. Well.
All right. Would you like me to go over the rules?
Yes. I'm just having a few issues with my camera. Just hold on one second.
You're good.
I've just got to figure some stuff out.
Oh, sorry.
Now it's fun.
There's definitely some technical difficulties there.
It was fine.
What the fuck are you doing? What's happening? Ash, you look so different.
Woo! What's going on here? We got a little imposter.
I have no idea who this person is.
I love this.
So Ash was not feeling the most confident with this, so she's called in a ring in.
Who is this ring in? Who is this?
This is Dakota.
Dakota? Is Dakota also an ex of Tara's? Is this the true Scott Pilgrim Gauntlet?
No. Just a good friend.
Okay.
You can call me DK.
Okay, DK, let's go.
Let's go.
I assume you know a lot more than Ash. Is that where we're going here?
I was just walking around the street and Ash masterfully manipulated me to come here and whoop some tushy. So, well, let's see how it goes.
The chat knows who you are, so.
Yeah, it's a big part of the Melbourne Survivor community. All right, now that we've got the camera sorted, I will go over the rules just once again. So there will be 3 questions each. You will have to answer the 4 previous seasons of Backyard Survivor and then 1 other season each. I will ask you a question. You can choose to either answer it straight off the bat or go for multiple choice. If you answer it without the multiple choice options, you will get 2 points. If you attempt it without multiple choice and get it wrong, the other person can steal for 1 point. If you get the multiple choice, you will get 1 point. And if you get it wrong, CK won't have the chance to steal.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Dakota, would you like to start with backyard 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Could I please start with backyard 1, please?
Backyard 1. Okay. The challenge saw players balancing a ball on a stick. Rosie won her second individual immunity. Who came in second?
Sally.
That's correct. Well done. 2 points straight off the bat. Okay. Would you like CK to answer backyard 2, 3, or 4?
I'd like to go 4 for CK, please.
4. Okay. So this was the merge episode. At Tribal Council, we saw a 6-6 vote between Jake and Val, with Jake being voted out on the revote. 3 people changed their votes. Who were they?
Do I pretend I don't know it? I'll just go with it. Just going with it this one. It's our friend Mark's bestie who lives rent free in his head, Josh.
Yeah.
It's Fu, and it's the winner of the season. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Spoiler for you.
Spoiler
Salvador.
alert! But yeah, I did already know that. Correct. 2 points for you. All right, Dakota, back to you. Do you want 2 or 3?
I would like to go for 3, please.
3. So this was also the merge, and we also had an auction. Who paid $250 for a covered item, which turned out to be a bottle of water?
Samara.
Damn, he's good.
He is good.
All right, CK, backyard 2. A double tribal saw Claudia and Tristan voted out in a 3-3-2-1 vote. Future winner Jay received 1 vote. Who was it from?
Claudia.
All right, guys, calm down.
This is
I
serious
need to make
business.
them harder again. I thought
This
they were
is
too hard, so I
serious.
made them a little bit easier, and maybe I need to make them harder again.
This is
All right,
serious
Dakota,
business this week.
you can pick from any other season that you like. Which one would you want?
Could I please go for Canberra season 2?
Canberra 2, Ultimate Sacrifice. Okay. Where is my Okay. So the challenge was a domino stack, which saw Nick win the first of many challenges. What color were Nick's dominoes?
Black.
Fuck, all right. Now, CK, for you, we were not going to go to the wheel like we normally do. The reason being, we have yet to have a question about Brisbane Survivor, and it is their final episode because there was only 7. So I'm going to make you answer a question about Brisbane.
You're just giving me all sorts of reasons why I can not count this victory. But anyway, I gotta drop in.
We have not yet had a Brisbane question, and next week we can't. So
Sure.
I did clear this with Dani at the end of last week's show. I was like, I'm going to do this, and she agreed that it was a good idea. So it was the finale. So at Final Tribal Council, which juror asked Kyle what his favorite flavor of ice cream is?
Fuck's sake. Bullshit, this is rigged. Okay, well, let's just run through the jurors who would ask nonsense like that. So Liam is a serious guy, so I can't answer shit like that. And neither would Tyler or Lily. And I don't think Alex would either. Alex was more of a person who's interested in the game. So it leads me to the 2 first boots, Georgia and Haley, and Sean is the other one. And my recollection is this question was given by a man, so I'm going to go with Sean.
Damn. All right. We're going to go to a tiebreaker. Perfect score by both of you.
Wow, nice.
Okay, I need to open up another document for my tiebreaker. Now, last week, Matt may have hacked the tiebreaker a little bit. So to prevent that from happening, I'm going to ask, Dakota, do you have a pen and paper handy? Or your phone?
You just show it on our phone?
Or your phone.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you to both text me the answers just to lock them in.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So this one is going to be a little bit different. Normally, I ask you for a number. Instead, I'm going to ask you for a letter because Sorry?
I'm good now. Sorry. Yeah.
You good? All right. So across all the seasons of LRGs, including Backyard 5, we have had a total of, where's my final number? 204 people have played. This is including people that have played multiple times. I want you to tell me which letter is the most common initial of players that have played Australian LRGs.
The first name?
This is going to be the name that appears on their opening credits or in their Meet the Cast. If that was a nickname or if they have since changed their name, I want the name that appeared there. And like I said, anyone who has played more than once, their name is represented by the amount of times they've played. Okay. So I would like both of you to text me your answer just to lock it in. If you are both incorrect, but you have different answers, it's going to be whoever's got the most. If you both have the same, then I've got a follow-up question for you.
I've sent you a letter.
I've got CK's answer.
So it's just got to be the letter, correct?
The letter that you think is the most common. Okay, you have both locked in your answers, and they are different.
I would like to change my answer. Is it too late?
No, you can't change your answer. Okay, so CK, what was your answer?
Well, I instantly went to C for myself, and also Calvin and Chris and plenty of others. But I, on retrospect, think I should have changed it to M.
To M, okay. Dakota, what was your answer?
Yeah, I was initially thinking M as well, but I went for A.
Okay. All of those answers are wrong. The correct answer was J for Jules.
Wow.
We've had like 4 Jakes. Wow. There's a few Jasons, a lot of Joshes, some Jesses. There's a lot of J names.
Yeah.
But I'm going to accept first answers only. So sorry, CK, you're going to have to stick with C. M was the second most common. So you both had good instincts there. But between A and C, one of them has 20 and one of them has 16. Congratulations, Dakota. A is the more common one than C.
Woo! Wow. Awesome.
Well done.
Cool. Imposter.
Stitcher. What the hell?
I was quite proud of this tiebreaker.
It's good.
Like,
wow. Well done, Dakota. You've really come in and shown your skills here.
So of 204 people, 29 of them start with J. That is insane.
I could have wiped the floor with Ash. But anyway, it's all good. That's what the game is.
Yo, CK, relax. I've still got a video for you. We figured it out. Tara,
we figured out the video.
Beautiful.
All right.
We want a live reaction to this video because I actually think you're going to love it.
You need to join the chat thing, like with the link. Okay. You got the link from Dani?
I've downloaded it onto this. I just did it like literally perpendicular to this screen. I think I've got it.
Is it in there?
Yeah, it's in the.
Yeah. Okay, so we can add this.
Yes.
See the video. Hang on. Let me start it again.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by the look. He's not just in a band. He is stalking the flag to find the welcome note. Everyone in his tribe is aware of his lies, but he's in disguise as some hotshot lawyer. Players all say, don't come for me. Early merge mood, he's so vain. As he sets up his podcast webcam, Chris Kelly eats his words. He's the ORCA king with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Leather jacket go, always ready to go. Don't mess with his show, he's the apex predator.
Hello.
She married a psychopath.
I'm taking my pants off. That was amazing.
You are the apex predator, and even though Dakota might have whooped your ass, you still remain the apex predator of the ORCA world, at least. And for that, we are truly grateful.
I don't know if he whooped my ass, but yes, that was a fantastic video. I'm not sure
Okay, well,
what-
I would pretend that he did. I'd like to pretend he did because I know I could not. But
That was a fantastic video. I love that. Did you guys write that song
please
yourself?
tell me you've included a pic of CK and Jules asleep at Tara's drunk Bible. Yeah, that footage was in there.
Yeah, that was in there. We did it. I did it like 12 hours ago, and it's a parody of the Apex Predator from the Mean Girls like musical movie.
Can you add Tara back in, please?
Tara.
Not Tara. Sorry, Danny.
What?
Goodbye, Tara.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong chat. Sorry.
All right, well then
I was
we're on
looking
our
at
way
Tara
out.
today.
All right, see you later. everyone. No, yeah.
Bye.
No, you can still be here. I just wanted to add Danny back in.
Yeah, thank you very much for that video. That was absolutely incredible.
That was so good, Ash.
It was very fun.
Crying with laughter. That was so good. Oh my goodness. Well done.
It was great. It was a lot of fun to make. It was very reminiscent of some interesting times going back through the Drunk Biver archives. So, yeah, if anyone ever gets to look back through them, I wish you luck.
Thank you very much, Ash. And thank you, Dakota, for really showing your knowledge. It's very knowledgeable, Dakota.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
He was very knowledgeable.
Like, some of those were tricky too.
Yeah.
I was not expecting the Canberra 2 question, so I was a bit caught off guard by that one.
I'm just disappointed I didn't lock in my first. I locked in too quickly. I knew the answer. It was M. I was thinking about Mel.
Well, you were wrong anyway. The correct answer was J.
Yeah, but it would have got me the win.
It would have.
I was thinking of Canberra 3, Mel, Ma, Michael, Malcolm, and then probably show a bunch of others. Oh well, it is what it is.
You did such a great job.
I made a full spreadsheet of like all the letters, so I'm going to use this for future tiebreakers, maybe.
Yes, it could be used. Okay, so thank you for joining us once again. The 12 went long this time, but it was still great. And that was a fun segment. So welcome, thank you, Ash and Tara and Dakota, for all of that. Next episode is coming this week, and then of course we'll be back next Wednesday with all our coverage. Until then, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Hang on, do we want to get the song? I'm all flustered. Where is it? There we go.
Sorry.